Hello, and welcome to Back to the Science. I'm Dr. Susan Oliver, and I'm a scientist, and this is Cindy Oliver, and she's a dog. Those of you who follow me on Twitter may have noticed that recently, every time I tweet something, a number of people post a thread about me by someone called Vaccine Mole, who has uncovered some disturbing facts about me. Well, they think they are. In this video, we'll be looking at the mole's claims and whether they have merit. But we will also be revealing a bombshell that the mole didn't uncover. But first, you may be wondering who the vaccine mole is. Let's have a look. So this is their homepage on Twitter. Apparently they are a vaccine research investigator exposing the truth about the harms done by the pharmaceutical / medical / journal / psycho establishment and their financial ties. And strangely enough, they are not followed by anyone I am following. So basically they're an anonymous account. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I follow a number of anonymous accounts on Twitter. People have a number of legitimate reasons for remaining anonymous, particularly given how toxic social media can be. But I can't help but wonder if Vaccine Mole is actually employed by Big Pharma to make anti-vaxxers look like idiots. Just a thought. But anyway, let's have a look at what the mole has to say about me. But just before we do that, I have to thank the mole for sharing this photo of me from when I was a fair bit younger. Anyone who doesn't watch my videos, which I suspect would be most of the mole's followers, is probably thinking I look a bit better than what I actually do. So what accompanies this photo? Some may know Dr. Susan Oliver. She mocks and refuses evidence from scientists / papers showing clear evidence of harm / deaths from COVID-19 vaccines. What may be the motivation for that? This mole smelled something familiar with vaccines on her and decided to dig deep to find out. Now, before we go on and find out what the mole uncovered about me, I would just like to make it clear that I do acknowledge the rare deaths and injuries that have occurred following vaccine administration. However, I would also like to point out that people like Vaccine Mole, who exaggerate the harms that have occurred, are actually making it harder for these people to be taken seriously. And that is terrible. Okay, let's get on to the real dirt. This mole found Dr. Susan 1, who, by the way, is not me. The mole accidentally tagged the wrong person. Oops. Anyway, Dr. Susan works / is paid as senior researcher for Boyer Lab, which is located / affiliated with New South Wales University. And the mole keeps saying wish instead of which throughout their tweets. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be some joke that I'm not getting or what. If you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, they go on. Professor Cyril Boyer, her boss, is head of the lab, but this mole smell got real strong when the word nanoparticle came up on the screen. And look, the mole is right. They have even highlighted the word nanoparticle in orange, which unfortunately doesn't match my pink colour scheme at all. I really wish they'd chosen a different colour, but what can you do? And it gets worse. There is even photographic evidence. Here I am sitting next to my former boss, Cyril, at what appears to be a group dinner. Wow, the evidence is overwhelming. I may as well come clean. Yes, it's true. I do nanomedicine research. Of course, this is no secret. It's literally on the about page of my YouTube channel that I have a PhD in nanomedicine. No need for the mole to go digging around out-of-date websites, although I guess you could make it seem more suspicious if it looks like you uncovered something. Now, a lot of people probably hadn't heard much about nanomedicine prior to the development of mRNA vaccines, but in fact, it's a very established field. And medications using nanotechnology have been available since the beginning of the 90s. And particular benefits of nanomedicine include targeted drug delivery, reduced toxicity, and increased stability. And the particular research that I have done in nanomedicine is looking at potential cancer treatments and potential solutions to antibiotic resistance. But just to be clear, it's all in vitro research, which means it may or may not be successful in clinical practice. It needs to be developed further. But wait, the mole has uncovered more. Dr. Susan Oliver is specialised in nanoparticle tech, and Professor Cyril Boyer is co-director of Australian Centre for Nanomedicine, which of course makes lots/tons of money from nanotech. At this point, the smell got so rotten that this mole needed fresh air. And that tweet was accompanied by this annotated pic. The mole really isn't too bright. This isn't money that the Australian Centre for Nanomedicine made. It's research grants. Doing research is expensive. You have to pay for materials, equipment, lab space, and salaries. And you get research grants to do this. And all grant money has to be accounted for. They don't just transfer the money into your bank account and leave you to it. But wait, there's still more. Smell was so unbearable, but this mole had to keep digging and unveil the tip of the root for the smell. The Australian Centre for Nanomedicine's doing research on drug delivery technologies for ... mRNA COVID-19 vaccines, ! 2 authors from ACN are co-authors. Wow, this is truly shocking. People at the Australian Centre for Nanomedicine are doing research on nanomedicine. How did this happen? By the way, I'll provide a link to the paper they wrote in the video's description. It's quite a good paper that explains all the previous research on drug delivery that has made the development of mRNA vaccines possible. It also suggests ways that they can be improved in the future, for instance, by using microneedle patches instead of injections. It goes on. But wait, as this mole unveiled the tip of the root, it couldn't stop digging now. It wondered which tree this root belongs to. But the smell was so bad that it almost gave up. So it decided to unveil the root even more to find which tree it belonged to ... Oh no, what devastating revelation is coming next? Root lead to tree. It smelled so bad this mole almost died intoxicated. Found Dr. Susan Oliver, Professor Cyril Boyer and colleague Professor Thordarson from ACN at UNSW will lead Australia mRNA vaccine research for 96 million government funds. Wow, that's fantastic news. I had no idea I was involved in this project, let alone leading it. I better have a look at the pics and see what I can find out. Damn, the mole is lying. Who would have thought? I'm not mentioned at all, and neither is Cyril. Professor Thordarson is mentioned, but he isn't leading anything. He's just providing advice to the New South Wales government, who are planning to manufacture mRNA vaccines locally. And by the way, I've never even met Professor Thordarson, although I'm sure Cyril knows him. But what about the $96 million? Are we at least getting that? No, it's for a pilot manufacturing facility that is being established in partnership with all New South Wales universities. Strangely enough, the mole has highlighted this information. Perhaps they misread all New South Wales universities and thought it meant the University of New South Wales. For those who aren't from Australia, New South Wales is one of the states in Australia. It's the state where I live. The capital is Sydney, which you may have more likely have heard of. But anyway, we have 11 universities in New South Wales. Well, that was a bit of a fizzer. What's next? Now you know why Dr. Susan Oliver promotes mRNA vaccines so much, fights with 10 nails to suppress anything that threatens the safety of her precious mRNA research being done at UNSW, where she and her boss, Professor Cyril Boyer, along with his colleague, Professor Thordarson, works. Now, let's ignore the fact that I'm not doing any mRNA research and never have. Research is all about solving problems. If there are issues with mRNA vaccines, people can do more research to solve them. If everything was perfect, there would be no reason to do research. As an example, one of the components of the lipid nanoparticles used to encapsulate mRNA in the vaccines is polyethylene glycol, or PEG as it's known. Some people are allergic to PEG, so researchers are looking for possible alternatives. But wait, the mole's not finished yet. This mole now hopes you spread and expose these people, part of the biopharmaceutical complex, which will do anything to suppress information about the harms of the NP mRNA technology. I can only search/find what's below the ground. I'll leave the work at the surface with you. Whatever, I'll just leave that one. Now, after the mole posted this thread, some people pointed out that I'm actually retired, but the mole wasn't buying it. Mice told this mole that Dr. Susan Oliver engraved retired November 2022 in bad-smelling root, hoping to hide tree. Went back to dig, found study published August 2022, just months ago. Her and boss Cyril Boyer are authors, showing still working for ACN and Boss as of 2022. Ding, ding, ding. There is, of course, no requirement to be employed to publish papers. A lot of scientists choose to continue consulting on research relevant to them after they've retired. I'm one of them. However, I don't get paid for it. Doing things about compensation is a concept that someone like the mole doesn't seem to understand, which explains their warped view of the world. The mole, though, had one final shot. Mice also told moles some insist with its retirement claim as a distracting manoeuvre to keep eyes away from the big picture. Her past history/ties to pharma mRNA technology, which obviously represents huge conflicts of interest. Anyway, in Australia, people can still work post-retirement. And this is accompanied by a screenshot about working past pension age. Okay, I'm now starting to feel a bit insulted. Pension age in Australia is 66. I'm not that old. I am what is known as a self-funded retiree, which means I am living off income from money that I have invested. It's not a huge income, but it's enough for me. And what this means is I'm not accountable to anyone. I can do and say whatever I like. Well, as long as I don't break the law, obviously. So that's everything the mole uncovered about me. But as I alluded to at the beginning of the video, there's a bombshell that they missed. I'm about to show you a secretly recorded video. For those who missed it, the woman in the pink wig dancing with Austin Powers is me in disguise. Yep, I'm actually an international spy. The nanomedicine research and my YouTube channel are all just a cover to hide my true identity. So basically, the mole managed to uncover something that I actually share on my YouTube page, made up some other stuff that isn't actually true, and completely missed the real bombshell. So if you follow me on Twitter and see anyone sharing the mole's thread, please share this video with them. If you've got this far, thank you for listening. And if you've liked or commented on the video, double thank you, because that helps the algorithm and means that more people see the video. And of course, thank you to everyone who has bought me a coffee. I really appreciate your support. I will be continuing to make videos about the science in the future, so if you'd like to see them, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.